Hello lovelies and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I thought we would tackle some phone grips. Honestly, I never had a phone grip for a very long time, and then phones kept getting bigger and bigger, and I have, you know, tiny ineffectual little hands, and I couldn't hold my phone, or I would try to hold my phone with my pinky down here, and literally my hands would hurt, my pinky would hurt, my thumb would hurt. So I broke down one day and was like, fine, I'll just get a phone grip, and it's changed my life, which is kind of a first world and sad thing to say, but having a phone grip has made my life a lot easier. They're pretty handy. So I have 6 of these sweet little geode molds, and instead of doing the same type of project on each one, I thought, no, we're not gonna do that. We're not going down like that. We're gonna get crazy with it, and we're gonna do something different in every single mold. That's right, that's how we do it here. We go for it. Go hard or go home. For this project, I'm using a new type of resin. At least it's new to me. It is still a counterculture DIY product. It is still artist resin. However, it is the thin viscosity. I don't know if you can see it there, all tiny in the orange. I'm very excited about this. So much so that I bought the big one. I feel that in my previous projects, I had issues with the bubbles venting, and the whole purpose of this thinner viscosity is to help relieve some of those issues. But I also had to be careful with knowing that glitter and some of the heavier items are going to fall more easily because this mixture is less viscous. So we're going to learn together. It's going to be great. So if you're just thinking to yourself, you know, it'll be a really interesting video to watch. Some resin phone grips, geode style, plakow, beep, then keep on watching. All right, the plan. I even wrote the plan, just so you know. We're making 6 different geo molds. We know that we're going to use the counterculture DIY artist resin in the thin viscosity. Super excited to use that. But let's kind of go into what the plan is. In the first mold, I found these amazing The Child from the Mandalorian. It's a TV show on Disney Plus. They're so great. So they're little holographic foil. They're on transparency. You can't really see it as well when I take that white backdrop away. But I thought about cutting out one of these and then placing that face down, doing a clear coat of resin, and then behind that putting in some greenery because the child is the same species as Yoda, so they are green, their skin is green, and I thought this would be kind of an interesting way to interpret that, so to speak. So I would let that dry for about 5-6 hours and then come back in behind that and do a white mica pour so that it has like a nice white background. Number 2, I found these awesome buttons at Joann's. Are they not amazing? Look how detailed they are. I really love Maleficent. She is one of my favorite villains, and I think this is just amazing. I gotta cut off the button part in the back here, this little nub. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little nub back there. Playing with little Maleficent here is going to be a clear pour first, and then some glitter, and this is kind of the green and purple glitter, which those are kind of her colors. So I'll let that cure, then I'll come in with some carbon black Pearl X mica pigment, just so that it's that glitter on a solid black background. Then, when that is completely cured, I will demold it, set her on top, and then do a top coat of resin to kind of seal her into the piece. The third project, I do want to make look like an actual geode, which is the whole point of the geode style. Yet somehow I'm only making 1 of 6 that way. It's all good. Creativity is fun. So in the third mold, my plan is to mix some resin with this white pearl mica pigment, and then mix a little bit more clear resin with some of these opal flakes, and then kind of pour it in rings. And then in the very center, I will add some of these gold glass pieces. Mold number 4, we're gonna work with some really cool beads I found here. So these beads have lotuses in them. I hope that you can see that. This is too deep to fit flush inside the mold, but that's okay. I think it's all right to have a little bit of a smooth bump coming out of the mold. So with this, my plan is to do just alcohol ink. So I will, in the mold, I'm gonna do clear, and then I'm gonna do alcohol ink in dark magenta, peach red, and orange alcohol inks. And then of course, using the white alcohol ink with that. Being careful not to accidentally drip some on top of the bead itself. And that will be that one. In the fifth foam grip, we're gonna do a clear layer of resin. I'm gonna put some florals down. We'll let that cure for about 5-6 hours and then come back in and do some alcohol ink, but I'm just gonna do black alcohol ink. So I'm just gonna do the black ink with the white ink mixed around. So I wonder if that's gonna turn gray. I don't know what's actually gonna happen, but I think it will make the colorful flower pop a little more. And for the final phone grip, this one is a little intimidating. I think this is gonna be the most difficult one to do. I wanna make an ocean theme. So, interesting things. I've heard that you can use food coloring. So this is just Wilton gel food coloring, and I'm gonna use this teal color here. And like 1 drop at that, because I want it to be translucent, to look like the ocean. And then I have some shells. They're pretty tiny, and some sand. So my thought is I will mix the sand and the shells with some clear resin. I think I'm gonna let it sit till it gets very tacky, because I want it to stay in this little bottom portion here. I don't want to pour it in and then it just spreads out onto the whole piece, because that's not the look I'm going for. So I'm gonna wait till the resin is kind of really thick before I put it in the mold so it hangs out here in the bottom. We'll let that dry 5 or 6 hours. Then I'm gonna come back in with that translucent teal, pour that for the whole thing, and then I think I want to add a little bit of blue-green mica powder. Then I might actually use some white alcohol ink and swirl that around as well to see how that looks. So there's a lot going on in the ocean one. Who knows? It's gonna be fun to do. All right, guys, I'm really excited. I hope you're on board. There's a lot going on here. I'm gonna have to do a lot of setup and a lot of prep. I may even have to do this in 2 batches, which is probably the wiser thing. I'm gonna have to think this out. Most people probably don't try to take on this much madness, but who does? Me. Is this taking on too much at one time? Probably. Am I wise enough to realize that? Well, yes, I am, because I'm talking about it. But am I wise enough to not do it? No, I'm not. So we're gonna see how this goes. Keep your fingers crossed and check out how I make these geodes. know what day today is? It's demolding day. You got it. You're so smart. I'm so excited. Just a little though, because I'm professional. Before we demold, I want to talk about something that's somewhat hilarious, which is the fact that I realize that I don't learn any lessons, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because if you recall in the previous video where I was making comb molds, there were 6 comb molds, much like we had 6 phone grip molds here, and I tried to pour them all at the one time and it didn't quite work out. I didn't have enough time to finish the last 3 molds well, let's put it that way. So you would think that I would carry that knowledge on to this project, but did I? No, I did not. I just went for it and I was like, oh, they're small. I can get this. No, I had to do 2 pours, which is fine. And I am not really sure what I did to make this happen, but this is the rest of my first pour. Artist resin is very clear. It dries clear, but this, however, has a yellow tint to it. Artist resin doesn't dry that way. And I don't know, I didn't apply any heat to it. I honestly don't know what I did to make it set up as quickly as it did. I did pour it from one container after mixing it into another one, so I know that helps. But something did happen and my resin set up rather quickly and it turned into a lumpy mess. And I think it's maybe because I had such a large volume just sitting there waiting for me to need it for the second part. Any insight into what happened here would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's get to it. I know you're excited. No demolding really necessary here with Maleficent. She's pretty much good to go, but I adore her. She's mostly encapsulated in the resin. Her body is, but her staff kind of sticks out, her hands, and then her face. But let's get this done and see what happens. She's amazing. So some of the glitter kind of sticks off the edge here, but I can always sand that down, but she's amazing. Probably put her on a black phone grip, maybe something like that, which is great because if you remember I used the carbon black mica and it's not completely opaque. You can kind of see through it, and I think putting her on a black phone grip will really kind of make that glitter pop. So, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Here's the back, not really that exciting, but we didn't expect it to be. I really do love her. She's amazing. Moving right along. So this was that Lotus bead, silver bead, and then I did alcohol ink. So this project we did clear resin on the bottom, did the alcohol ink drips, set the metal lotus bead in. I kind of, if you remember, I pulled up some of the color to come up around because it just looked strange having that blunt circle, silver circle in the middle, and I just didn't like the way that looked. So that's why I kind of forced some of the color up to just around the lotus itself. Then for the second pour, we just did a clear coat on top to seal the deal in. So this is how it turned out. The alcohol ink is pretty, it's subtle, but I think it is really lovely. And it almost looks like it's a flower itself, which I really like how that kind of worked out, how that turned out. So it looks great from the other side too. You can see that some of the color sort of went through to the front of here. So if I could find a way to allow that the alcohol ink won't come here, so maybe just do a clear resin layer and then put the bead on top, let that cure, and then come back in with the alcohol ink in the back, that could be a winner as well. So something to think about to do it the reverse order, but I think this side also turned out just smashing as well. This is the one that I was trying to make look like a actual geode, but we'll see. Let's see. Oh, it turned out great. So you can see how I used that really fine pink glitter on the outside mixed with those opal flakes, those little shimmery flakes, and they did stay to the edge. And then the clear did allow for the gold pieces in the middle to not be overcome. That's what I was worried about, is that the part where I mixed that salmon mica in, that pink was just going to overlap the gold completely and kind of take away from its shine. But as you can see, it did a really good job. Oh, there's so much glitter. I feel like my husband's got to be okay with this glitter because at least it's contained. No, probably still not. So this turned out great, and that was the back. Oh. And I love the dimension that those little flakes, those opal flakes give. It's just a totally different texture. This has a lot of texture going on, and I really like it. You've got the rocks, you've got those opal flakes, you've got the glitter, and then you have the really fine mica. So far, so good. So in this one, we did a clear layer of resin. We laid some florals down. We'll let that cure, and then for the second pour, we did black alcohol ink only with some white to kind of make a gray background. So let's see how that turned out. Here's what it looks like the back side here. That's cool. It turned out very cool. Oh, are those little bubbles though? Oh, there are a few bubbles, but I don't think that detracts from it at all. Where the white kind of came towards the front, it looks more gray, but then sitting further back is more black and gray kind of a texture, which just, this is lovely. And that really shows the color of those flowers. Oh, so here's gonna be the Mandalorian inspired one. Oh, he's cute, look at him. So the leaf drifted just a little bit, but he's still stinking cute there with his florals and his little hand up. Oh, I love the Mandalorian. They just came out with the second season. I also like how the mica in the background has a texture to it. With this piece, we did a clear layer of resin. Then we put down the child, the little mini Yoda foil. And then we put the flowers in right on top. So I added a little bit more clear resin during that same pour and then added the flowers in. Then we let that cure and then came in behind with this pearl mica. This might be the one that I'm most excited for, is the ocean. I'm excited because it's either gonna be awesome or it might be a little bit of a travesty, a sham and a mockery. It could be a travesty mockery. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. If on this one, if you recall, we mixed some resin with the sand. We put the sand in, we laid the shells out, and then we did just a little coat of clear and let that set. Then came back in on the second pour and did some of that food coloring gel dye into some resin, which gave it a transparent blue. But before I did that, I kind of painted the clear side with some blue-green mica. And then after that, we followed up with some of the alcohol ink. So let's see what we've got as a finished product. Oh my gosh, it almost like a cloud. That is a really cool effect. It may need some tweaking, but that is awesome. I wish I would have used a little bit less alcohol ink so it might have been a little bit thinner and kind of diffused more, but this turned out great. You can see that second pour that I did back here of that white alcohol ink too, so it's nice and layered. It has great dimension. The shells didn't quite show as much as I would like. I think that you get the idea that it's an ocean scene. So this is something that I definitely want to try to work on a little bit more and kind of tweak to get just right, because I think this has potential to be amazing. I'm very excited about how these turned out. For the finishing touches, I'm just going to sand down the edges, make them a little bit more smooth, and then I'm going to go in with some of these paint markers and just color in and finish off the outer edges here. Then I'll just use some E6000 to secure it to a phone grip, and then that'll be it. We'll call it a day. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun with this. There were so many different design elements, and I really kind of have an idea of how I want to do the second version. I'm really interested in doing the ocean one again. So if you want to see me tackle the ocean themed phone grip again and try to find the perfect way to do it, then just let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and to click that bell so you don't miss any new content. If you guys end up making phone grips of your own, please tag me. I'm on Instagram at @mycraftedchaos. I would love to see what you're working on. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. And it's probably gonna be, you know, like 80% successful. Go hard or go home. That's my motto. It's not my motto. Nobody says that. I don't say that. People probably do say that, but I don't say that. I'm usually more like, go easy because it's cool, and like if it gets tricky, you just like gotta keep going, and then if it gets really bad, you just gotta keep going some more, and it'll eventually be okay, and it's gonna be okay, and everyone's gonna be okay. so it makes sense, go hard or go home. We are doing 6 of these geode. That was the longest enunciation of geode in the history of time. Oh, it's long gone, and it has probably picked up every single piece of dust in the universe. What is that with silicone molds? And they're like sticky, but nothing sticks to them. How does that make sense? All right, so we know we're using the artist's resin. I missed my fingers. Whiff. Life is life. Gosh, I should write quotes. Life is life, guys. Just life is life. Around the edge of the actual device when it comes out. The device, it's not a device, it doesn't do anything, but look awesome and keep you from dropping your phone. Maybe it is a device. I should do my whole video like this. Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a crazy person that wears my hair tied around my neck, but I hope you still like me anyway.